We are in
44.
44. Yes. Atma do sadatam prapto abhi apraptavad avidyam tannashe praptavad bhaji swakanda abharanam yatha. These the words. The translation is, though the self is an ever-present reality. It's a reality and it is ever-present. It is never absent. It can never be veiled by anything. It is the infinite being, besides which there is nothing. Therefore, there is nothing here in this creation to veil it. It cannot be veiled. Therefore, it is always shining. It is ever present. It is reality. It is the only reality. Yet, this is the fact, this is the truth. Yet, because of our ignorance, because we do not know this, we have not thought about this, we have not understood this. Because of this defect in us, it is unrealized. It is not realized. Though it is the only reality here, it is not realized. And the destruction of ignorance. How to destroy the ignorance? By knowledge, by knowing it. On the destruction of ignorance, the Atman is realized. Example. How is it? It is like the case of the ornament in one's neck. I think I gave this example last week. It is a common experience to search for an ornament which all the time is hanging around the neck. I told you the last time I gave the example. After I bath in the Ganges, you just search for the necklace in the neck. You thought it was missing. You just search like this, you couldn't find it. You start wailing. Somebody asked you what the matter was. You said that my ornament is lost, my necklace is lost. Then he could find the necklace hanging on the back, sticking on to the top of your neck. Then he just told you, it is not lost, it is there. Please touch the neck, feel it, and pull it down. Yes. You did it and you got back the necklace. The last necklace is got back, we say. You know, the necklace was never lost and it was not got back. During the whole process, starting from the time in which you thought it was lost, till you found it is not lost, the necklace was on your neck. This is the example. Even when the necklace was on your neck, you somehow thought it was lost. And another point to be noted is, without the help of the other man who pointed out the necklace in your neck, you would not have found it. His help was required. Although the necklace is in your neck, you required the help of somebody else to know that it is there. It was not lost. The ignorance that it is lost, or the ignorance of its presence, or the thought that it is lost, has to be destroyed. That is, the ignorance has to be destroyed with the help of somebody else. Similarly, here, we are really the self alone. Somehow we have forgotten our real nature. We think we are all small human beings. The Master in the scripture tells you, you are divine, you are that. And we realize that. This is the example with which we have to get some intellectual glimpse of the truth and then meditate over it. You understand the example? Very simple. How could you think the necklace which is already in your neck, how could you think it is lost? Tell me. Suddenly you thought it was love. You start wailing, you're crying. How is it possible? It is possible. It happens in our life. Similarly, here, when you are the real self, the infinite being, how could you think that you are a small human being with birth and death, with all kinds of suffering, happiness and unhappiness, etc.? How could you think it is impossible? But somehow it is happening. It is an appearance. It is due to ignorance of the truth. Yes. You follow the argument? The scripture tells you are that. You are the divine, infinite being, always. Not only you, the whole universe. To the knower of Atman, it is perceived at all times. When once you get a glimpse of it, and you meditate over it and perceive the truth, then whatever you see here is that and that alone. Not only whatever you see, you perceive through the five sense organs. Whatever you think, whatever you speak, whatever you know, all that is realized as truth. To the knower of Atman, it is perceived at all times. During the waking state, during the deep dream state, during the deep sleep state, during the samadhi state, while you are alive, while he is dead, in an unconscious state, at all times, he realizes the truth. He sees God and God alone, the truth and truth alone. He knows it as consciousness and existence to be the basis of all perception through the five sense organs and the mind. All perceptions. Hearing, seeing, smelling, touching, tasting, thinking, knowing, all these. All these experiences are the experience of the reality. Wonderful. Wonderful is the discovery. When you hear say this, you don't appreciate it. You realize it, you find how wonderful it is. Inexpressible through words. Your joy, your peace that you get through this is inexpressible through words. But you are experiencing it. You are experiencing that alone, nothing else. Even in the case of an ignorant person, where the Atman is self-luminous, free and pure, though it is not realized by him as such. What he perceives the reality. That alone he is. But somehow, as in the case of the example of the last necklace, we think we are seeing colors, we are seeing forms, we are hearing sounds, we are tasting the taste, smelling the scent, touching something hard or soft, thinking thoughts, so on. We give different names to that and think that that is God. We are not seeing it. We want to find out that. We want to realize that. Yes. While you are seeing, perceiving that and that alone, we in our ignorance think we are seeing a world of many objects and we want to see God. We want to realize God. Yes.
Swamiji, is there any purpose for the seeing the world instead of God?
Is there any purpose in seeing the world instead of God?
Are you seeing the world? You have to put the other way. What is the purpose of seeing God instead of the world? Do you mean that or the other way?
Well, I'm just trying to understand.
You
why-
know you are seeing. Now we are seeing the world.
Yes.
What is the purpose? He enjoys sense objects. Huh? How many objects, beautiful things are there? He enjoys. But along with it, the suffering also is there. We want to avoid it. In spite of all our attempts, we are not able to avoid it. Yes. In spite of all that you can possess, which the world can give in the form of wealth, health, family, etc., we are not satisfied. We want something else. There is a lacuna in us. Even the richest man, the healthiest man, the greatest man, whose name appears in the newspaper every day, such a great man, he is also in need of something more than this. He is also wanting something. He is not happy really. Therefore, we are in search of the truth. Your question was the opposite. What is the use of seeing the world as the world or seeing God as the world? We can enjoy sense objects and also suffer. These are two purposes. Yes. Do you mean that?
Yes. What is the use of it?
All spiritual disciplines such as the study of scripture and the practice of austerity are meant only for the unillumined, to whom the Atman, the ever-present reality, remains as an unknown and unrealized object. To the knower, no scripture is required, no meditation is required. It may be contended that Brahman alone and not the Jiva has been described in the scriptures as an ever-present reality. The answer is that through ignorance one regards Brahman as the Jiva and experiences the transmigratory life. That is the purpose. Experience of transmigratory life, life of birth and death, in between the experience of pleasure and pain. The next verse says, another example is given. Sthano Purushavat Brantya Krida Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tatvike Rude Tasmin Drishte Nivartade. Brahman appears to be a jiva and the whole world of objects. Brahman appears to be an individual person through ignorance. As the stump of a tree appears to be a man at night, in moonlit night. You are walking alone on the road. At a distance, there is a stump of a tree with one or two twigs there. The twigs are moving in the wind. Suddenly, a thought of a ghost comes in your mind. Oh, there is a ghost there. You get frightened. You can't move forward. Need example. What is there is the stump of a tree. But somehow you see, you rather think it is a ghost. Your eyes are falling on the stump of the tree. But your mind says it is a ghost. He is not merely saying, you won't move, go forward. There's difficulty. You can't move. You start, even standing there, your body is trembling because the thought of a ghost. Then, fortunately for you, somebody else comes who knows that it is not a, he did not see it as a ghost, he saw it only as a stump of a tree. He tells you that it is not a ghost. Please come, I will help you. He holds you by your hand and takes you there and shows it. You feel it, it is a stump. The ghost disappears. The ghost appears and disappears. The stump remains forever, permanently. Similar is the case of the individual jiva and the whole universe. We think in our ignorance that it is a universe, a universe of objects and subjects. The Master and the scriptures tell you that it is not a universe, it is the self, it is God. Brahman appears to be a jiva through ignorance, as the stump of a tree appears to be a man, a ghost or a thief, whatever it is. That which is there is, though your eyes fall on that, you mistake it. Your eyes are open, there is little moonlight, you see an object there, it is the stump of a tree, but you suddenly think it is a man, a thief or a ghost or this is due to ignorance, some confusion in the mind. As in the case of the 10th man. You remember the story of the 10th man. How he forgot to count himself. Who is the 10th man? Confusion. He counted all the 9. Suddenly a thought arose, where is the 10th man? 10th man is lost. An idea. He has a seed of an idea that the 10th man is lost. Enough. His mind is confused. He forgot to count himself and confirmed that the 10th man is lost. And there also somebody else comes and tells you that you are the 10th man, whom you thought has been washed away by the river. How do you think like that? I have been washed away by the river. It happens. Confusion of intellect, confusion of thinking, ignorance. That's the point to be understood. The point to be understood here is why we are seeing, why we are not seeing God, and why we are seeing world is confusion of the intellect. Clear the confusion. What is the way to clear the confusion? Is spiritual practice. All the spiritual practices given. You must have been hearing in the classes various approaches. Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all those yogas. There are different approaches. Whichever suits your temperament, your state of evolution, your level of consciousness, whichever suits, you hold on to it firmly and continue the practice. The so-called ignorance will be destroyed. Ignorance is not there. Ignorance cannot be there. That you will discover. Not that there is some ignorance and you are destroying it. Ignorance is not there is the discovery which we metaphorically say that it is destroyed. It is a metaphor. Assuming that there is an ignorance, we say it is destroyed. But the discovery is that there is no ignorance. God alone is. The next verse says, Tattva Swarupa Anubhavad Utpannam Jnanamanjasa Aham Mamedi Cha Ajnanam Bhadade Dig Brahma Vadu. The knowledge produced by the realization of the true nature of reality destroys immediately the ignorance characterized by the notion of I and mine, as the sun destroys the mistake regarding one's direction. Suppose you are in a new place at night, you will be confused about the direction, which is east, which is west, you will be in confusion. But when the sun rises, all confusion vanishes. You know, sunrise is always in the east. And once you know the direction east, you can know the other directions also. This is the example given here. The knowledge produced by the realization of the true nature of the reality destroys immediately the ignorance characterized by the notions of I and mine. The I as the ego, mine as something possessing something. This is mine, this is not mine. Nothing is mine, nothing is not mine. Yeah, everything is that alone. The I, the real I, is not the ego I. The real I means another, it is synonymous with the word God. Therefore, we all use the same word I. Krishna also uses the word I. Brahma also uses the word I. If you read Bhagavad Gita, there are scriptures, you will find I uses the word I. I am everything. I am the soul. I am the self in all. And we also use the word I. Is it a mistake? No. It is the truth. The same I used by Krishna, that same I is he also, I also, you also, when you use the word I. Don't think it is the ego. It is a mistake. Know that I is the supreme I. Otherwise, how we are using all of us are using the word same I. In regard to the body, the name is different. But when you refer to yourself in dealing with the phenomenal world, you use the word I, all of us. Not only human beings, other beings also. If you know their language, you will understand. They will also be using the word I. And you know in scriptures, Brahma, Krishna, and others, Vishnu, Shiva, when they are speaking, they use the word I. I is not so simple. I means, what does it mean? I means the infinite I, which is the same in all. And therefore, we are using it. know this, we are now using the right word unconsciously, not knowing the significance of it. Not only that, we mistake it for a small I, as a ego, and give the name ego, and then curse it. We want to destroy ego. No, it's not ego. Know that it is the symbol of that infinite being. The only word which is common to all of us, which indicates that which is the common link, the link that connects all of us. The only truth that is here. And the word is very simple, simplest word. In English, it is the simplest word. In other languages, it means aham. In Sanskrit, it is aham, isn't it? Aham. And that's all. There also, it is coined in such a way as to indicate this great truth there. A is the first letter of the alphabet. Ha is the last letter of the alphabet, including all the alphabetical letters. Therefore, all words and therefore all ideas and all concepts. The word aham is pointing out to this truth that, and the aham is not a small thing, an individual thing. It is inclusive, it is symbolic of the whole of the universe, whole of creation. The Creator also is included. How does the knower of truth, free from ignorance and illusion, view the universe? Samyak vijnanavan yogi swa atmanyeva agilam jagat ekancha sarvam atmanam ikshade jnana chakshusha. Yogi endowed with complete enlightenment, that is, one who has known the truth, one who has firmly understood the truth, has perceived the truth, experienced the truth, sees through the eye of knowledge, not through the physical eyes, the entire universe in his own self, and regards everything as the self and nothing else. This is experience. It says he sees through knowledge, through your purified intellect, the entire universe as his own self, as the Agni. And regards everything as the self and nothing else. Whatever you experience through the eyes is know that it is the self. The eyes, the physical eyes may say it is a form, it is a color, it is a tree, it is a building. But know that it is the self. Just as when the eyes see the dusk, know that it is wood. This is the example. When you see the wood, know that it is the self. You stop there, don't stop with the wood. That's only an example. Any object is the expression of that self. Even as all the furniture are the expression of wood. All the clothes are the expression of thread. Even so, all the names and forms which we see through our physical eyes, we can know through our intellect that they are nothing but the self. Similarly, the sounds we hear, the smells that we scent through our nose, the taste, the touch, the words that we speak, the thoughts we think, all that. No exception. Nothing other to it. He sees everything as the self. To the yogi who has attained complete enlightenment, the universe of names and forms appears to be mere imagination if they are names and forms. But in reality, it is the self. Self is not an object, you know that. Self can never become an object like the wood or the thread in the examples, or the post, or the stump of a tree. Self cannot be like that. It is not even the subject. It is a homogeneous consciousness, a glimpse of which you can have in the deep sleep state or in the practice of samadhi state, when you withdraw the mind. When the mind ceases to function, you are there and you are experiencing something. It is not object. None of the objects will be there when the mind is not functioning. But you are experiencing something. It is the absence of the objects plus the consciousness. Forget the absence of the objects. Even when the objects are not there, when you negate the objects as unreal or non-Atman, their absence also comes under it, and that also is automatically negated. When an object is negated, not only its presence is negated, but also its absence. What remains there is the consciousness. To a yogi who has attained complete enlightenment, the universe of names and forms appears to be mere imagination, like the imaginary existence of the snake in the rope. Further, since an imaginary object is the same as the substratum, the dust is the same as the wood, the cloth is the same as the thread, so the world is the same as God, as pure consciousness. The entire universe and its diverse objects are perceived by the yogi to be the same as the self. You may in the first instance, you may say it is through intuition or the eye of wisdom. Afterwards, you may say even the physical eyes are that, and whatever is seen through the physical eyes is that alone. Whatever you hear is that alone. The next verse says about the identity of the Atman and the universe. Atma vedam jagat sarvam. Atmano anyan na vidyate. Mrado yadvad ghadadini swatmanam sarvam imshade. The tangible universe is verily the Atman. Believe the scripture. The masters will not tell lies. How many times he has repeated this? The tangible universe is verily the Atman. This tangible just is the wood. That is all what he says. What is the difficulty in understanding? Is Atman also tangible? It all depends upon how you. In the early stages, we are told it is not tangible, as like objects. In the end, we will realize it is more tangible than the tangible objects. Therefore, the Master says, the tangible universe is verily the Atman. Is certainly the Atman. No, don't have any doubt. Nothing whatsoever exists that is other than the Atman. Putting in the same, in different words. Other than the Atman, nothing exists. Whatever exists is that Atman. Is God and God alone. As pots and jars are verily clay and cannot be anything but clay. Another example. So to the enlightened, all that is perceived is the self. Pots and jugs, plates, etc. made of clay. This is the example. Place them on the table, place a pot on the table and inquire, what is it? Is it clay or pot? Any portion of any part of that pot you touch, you are touching clay. There is not an atom of pot there. All atoms and molecules there are clay. So what are you seeing there? First you thought it was a pot, now you see it as clay. If you see it as a pot, then that jar nearby, which is also made of clay, will be a different object from the pot. The difference arises because of seeing this as the pot and that as the jar. But when you see the clay there, the difference vanishes. You see only clay. No pot, neither pot nor jar. This is the example. Similarly, here, the consciousness is appearing as objects. If you see them as objects, one object will be different from another object, and infinite objects are there, different from each other. But when you see the self, all difference vanishes. It is one mass of consciousness. The tangible universe is verily Atman. Nothing whatsoever exists that is other than the Atman. As pots and jars are verily clay and cannot be anything but clay, to the enlightened man, all that is perceived by the five senses and the mind are nothing but the self. Now the senses can perceive the self. Senses are perhaps perceiving the self alone. What are the senses? They are also the self. Therefore, the self is perceiving the self, not the senses. Why should the self perceive the self? It's a way of speaking. It's a way of telling the truth. The self, why should self, in a sentence, the subject and object must be different. But here, in this sentence, the subject is self, the object also is self. It's a way of explaining the truth. Though grammatically it may not be a correct sentence. According to Vedanta, a cause is in essence non-different from the effect, just as gold is non-different from gold ornaments or clay from articles made of clay. What differentiates cause from effect is just a name in the case of the examples. But in the case of the truth, even name is also that. This realization of the identity of the self with the universe enables a wise man to cultivate fearlessness and love for all, the supreme love, God love. That love comes, not the business love that we are now having. I love you, you love me. Otherwise I don't love you. It's only business. This love, this God love, comes because of this knowledge. And fearlessness. What is there to be afraid of here? Therefore, you are completely fearless. So you can stop here. We'll continue.
Maro Buddha Ankara Chita Hinam Nacha Shrotra Deve Nacha Gada Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhuri Natejo Navayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Sachidananda
Very